Hello, this is Michael from Trike Bike, and today I'm going to show you how to adjust and align the rear hydraulic brakes of some of our models of Trike Bike. I'm going to spin this wheel, and if you listen very, very carefully, you may be able to hear some rubbing sounds. What will happen with these rubbing sounds is they will not only wear out your brake pads, but they also create heat, which can sometimes turn into screeching sounds when you are braking, and they can also cause harmonics, which is a funny sound coming through the disc part of the brake system. You can see here the disc is spinning between the brake pads, but there is a touching sound through there which is causing friction. Okay, this is a hydraulic disc brake. I've turned it upside down and it's slightly different to the ones we use, but it's perfect for this demonstration. Now you'll see if I align this Allen key, this is where the disc normally goes, in the center of the brake pads. Now what will happen if it's dragging is the disc will be too far this way or that way, or it'll be twisted, so it'll be off at a slight angle. It's important that we get everything to align correctly. Now the way to do this is to push the disc pads back. So you can just use something like a screwdriver and just put it in here. I'll get rid of this Allen key and I'll just use a small screwdriver. We need to open the pads slightly, that is, push them apart. And you'll see there's getting more gap between the pads. We just do it very, very slowly because we're moving liquid, which is the brake fluid. We need to move those pads apart to give us more room. Then what we do, I'll grab the Allen key again. You'll see the Allen key now will go in there quite easily, and that's because we've spread the pads. So what we need to do now is to make sure that the pads are aligned perfectly parallel with the disc brake itself. Now, in our workshop, because we're used to it, we do it manually by eye. But if you're at home and having problems, there's a couple little tricks you can use. First of all, I'm going to start by loosening the two bolts which secure and align the brake caliper to the tricycle. So you can just loosen these bolts off, just sort of like 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn, perhaps a little bit more. That one's tight. I'm just going to get in here. Now you can see now we've got quite a bit of movement. So we've got movement sideways and we've got movement left and right. What we have to do now is to insert something which we can use as a spacer to align the brake in the correct position. Now what I'm going to use here is a couple of small metal rulers. These are about 1/2 millimeter thick, and I'm going to put these in between the brake pad and the disc itself. So by just giving it a bit of a movement one way, I can slide one ruler in. I'll just go over the other side and push it back slightly. And it's a pretty tight fit because this is a brand new bicycle that I'm demonstrating on. And I may not have pushed the pads far enough apart, but let me just pick that up. And we'll try again. That's it. It's going in. Okay, I've now got that in position. It's fairly tight. Not normally that tight, but it's now in there. And what I'm going to do now is go up to the handlebars and compress the brakes. So squeeze them on, just like I'm applying the brakes. And you'll see that it firms everything up, but the caliper can still move. So I'm going to tighten each bolt. So it's now just finger tight. I'm going to give the wheel a wobble Make sure everything's aligned. I'm just going to slowly tighten the front one, the back one, the front one, the back one. I'm going to do this a couple of times. If you tighten one on its own, it'll actually twist the caliper sideways, so you're going to end up back where you were. So once I've done that, I'm now going to release the brake on the handlebar. We're going to get our rulers out and listen to that. It's now perfectly aligned. There's no issues with it. I'm going to hit the brakes. So we're braking good. I'm just pumping the brakes a couple of times on the handlebars. And now we've got a little bit of movement. Let me just have a look there. A little bit out at the front. So I'm just going to repeat this process again. Align everything, or perhaps if I wanted to cheat a bit, I can see where I'm out. So I'm just going to loosen this. Move it over ever so slightly, tighten it up again. Let's have a listen. Perfect. Everything's perfect.